Program Coordinator with the Office of Centralized Enrollment. Today, I will walk you through how to submit your application. Right. So the first thing that you want to do is log into the Dallas ISD website, which you can find at dallasisd.org. On the main page, there is a link to the Choose Dallas ISD page. Once you click there, it will take you to the Discover Dallas ISD webpage where you will find links to this virtual Discover that you are in and any future dates, as well as the actual link to the website where you can apply. You will look for a section that says Apply Now, and it'll say Apply for the 26-27 school year. Once you click there, it will take you directly to the Schoolman Enroll Guardian login page. Now, it is important to know that this is a new website from previous years. Therefore, if you have a previous account that you've used in the past, you can use the same email or phone number that you used, but you will need to reset your password. And so there are some instructions here on the front of the page where you can see a video to walk you through a step-by-step on how you can do that. Or if you're a brand new family that is interested in applying to one of our wonderful schools, you can simply create an account. Now, for this purpose, I already have an account here that I will log into. Once you log in, you will receive the welcome page where you will verify that you indeed are applying to the 26-27 school year. If you already have a student in the district or that you have submitted an application for in the past, you will already see the student's name in the student card. So in this example, I already have a student named Discover Dallas ISD where we will be completing the application for. If you are a new family that just created an account and is interested in applying to one of our schools, you will simply click on Add a Student. So once I click on Add Forms, it'll take you to the student information page where you will verify or enter your student's information, date of birth, what grade level they will be applying to, your address, and if they are attending, what current school they are attending. You will click on Save and Continue, and it'll ask you to select what form you are interested in completing today. So the only option here right now is the choice application. You will click on Start, agree to the requirements and policies, and then you'll begin the application. So you will begin with completing the student information. Just keep scrolling down to any question that has an asterisk or the little star. You will be required to select a response to. Now, it is important to note that if there is a drop-down with options, you must select from the drop-down in order for you to continue with the application. Once you select Next, you will be required to enter your parent guardian information. Select what your relationship is to the student. Once again, enter your address. And again, I will emphasize that it is important that when you type in the address, you do select your address from the dropdown. You will enter your email address. If you would like to add an additional parent or guardian, you will select yes. Otherwise, you would select no. If you are a current Dallas ISD employee, you will answer accordingly here. And then you'll be taken to the selected schools page. From here is where you will receive a list of students based on the grade level that you are applying to that are available to select from. Now, in this new system, you are able to search by program name. Therefore, if you already know which schools you are interested in, you can simply enter the school's name and your option will automatically pop up. Now, if you're not too sure what your campus name is, or if you know that you want to apply only for magnet schools or only for transformation schools, you could select the filter and sort. And based on the dropdown, select what kind of program category you are wanting to apply to. If I select magnet schools and apply filters, all of the available magnet schools will come up. If I am interested in neighborhood schools, I can go back to the filter and sort and select the appropriate schools. Now, it is important to know that you do have up to 5 choice programs that you can select. From those 5 programs, only 2 of those choices can be magnet schools. The rest can be a combination of any others. Now, you can apply to up to 5, but you may select 1, you may only select 2 or 3. You do not have to select all 5. Once you have made your selections, you will save and continue, and you will be taken to the ranked choices page. Now, this page or this step is very important because how you rank your school selections will determine which one offer your student may receive. Therefore, you will select your top choice as your number 1 by clicking on the drop down and selecting from the choices you previously made. So in this instance, I will select Solar Prep for Girls as 1, Travis as 2, Jill Stone as 3, and Kramer as 4. Now, if you are needing to change your selections, you will simply click on the X next to the name so that you have the ability to change your choices. Once you have finalized your ranked choices, you will continue with the application by clicking Save and Continue and respond to the rest of the appropriate questions. If you do have a sibling that is currently attending one of the choice schools that you have selected, you will select yes and complete the sibling's information. For purposes of this and time, I'll select no. If your student receives special services, has an IEP or a 504, you will answer this question accordingly. Now, if you do answer yes, you must have the IEP or document to upload it to the application. There is an acknowledgement that you will need to read and click. If you select no, you will receive a question on if the student has a 504 plan. And if you select yes, again, you will be prompted to upload that documentation. Now, if you select I'm not sure, you will have a pop-up box where you can explain the reasoning. They may have it, you're not sure if they still have it or anything like that. So you will enter a quick explanation and then continue. Based on the program that you chose, each of the programs have specific requirements. In this instance, because I did select a magnet program, you will be required to upload the student's most recent report card, the student's test scores, and your proof of address. Once you have uploaded those documents, you'll save and continue. Because I chose a transformation school with Solar Girls, there is an additional page for transformation schools that you will need to complete regarding SNAP or TANF assistance. If you select yes, you can continue. If you select no, there are additional questions that you will need to answer. For transformation schools, there are also some documents that they do require. Therefore, you will upload those documents accordingly. For transformation schools, there are also additional two-way dual language questions that you will answer. And then for the neighborhood option, there is also some documents that are needed as well. So you have gone through each page, completing the necessary and required questions. Then you will go to the agreements and signature page where you will read the acknowledgements, scroll down, enter your electronic signature, agree to the above, and save and continue. This will take you to the review and send, where you can scroll down through each page that you completed. And if you do need to make any changes, you can simply click on the pencil to update any of the information. And once you update it, you will go to this page and make sure that you hit on submit application. Once you click on submit application, that is the final step, and you will be taken back to the dashboard. You will be able to click on view submitted forms for your student and verify which schools you have applied to. It is also important to note that you do have a messages center. When you click on that messages center, you will receive confirmation of your application being received for each of the schools. And if the school will send you, is sending you any type of communication, you will either find it here in this message center or by clicking on view submitted forms and reviewing the parent notes section that you will find in each of these schools. So again, that is the way that you will submit your application for the next school year. And if you have any questions, you can contact one of the One Centers or our phone bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very thorough explanation. We will, in a second, introduce the Jorge Flores, who he's not the Jorge Flores, he's just Jorge Flores, although I do think of him as the Jorge Flores. He is going to take us through the process and what you can do for transfers to some of the legacy schools. These are schools that don't necessarily require application, but they may have programs that your children are interested in. So, Jorge?
Thank you so much, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jorge Flores. I'm part of the centralized enrollment team, but also over student transfers. And I'm going to begin by speaking a little bit about our great legacy schools that we have already here for you to serve you and your students. And legacy schools are your neighborhood schools that your children are already zoned to based on your address. They're rich in history, they're rich in academic programs, and they're rich in community. Many parents have their children attend the same schools that they grew up in. And so our schools are called legacy schools because they're great. However, let's just say you want to go ahead and have your child attend a different school. And you would be able to go ahead and do this by attending a different neighborhood school by submitting a student transfer request. You would do it through the same application as the other programs that are available to you. And then you'd be able to go ahead and have your child attend that different school. And that permission remains with them all the way up to the highest grade level at that school. The only difference between our program of a transfer and the other programs is there wouldn't be any transportation available to the students. And the other thing too is that it's only based if they have space available. So it's a great opportunity to attend a different school other than your zone school. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jorge. That was, as always, very, very informative. And we do have really great legacy schools. Our legacy schools are the schools in your neighborhoods. And they all have, I mean, we are very proud of the specialized programs in schools, but we're equally proud of our legacy schools that have a lot of really great programs for your students. Next, we will be learning more about our great pre-K program. This is, we are one of the districts that has the most robust pre-kindergarten program in North Texas. And we are obviously very proud of it. And we are very happy to tell you about it. And our pre-K representative will go over that now.
Good morning. My name is Chris Leja, and I am the pre-K coordinator in Dallas ISD. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our pre-K program and the reason why you want to have your child in pre-K in Dallas ISD. Now, first, we want to ensure that you know that because 90% of the child development happens at the age of 5. You really want to have your baby in pre-K so like that they can expand their brain knowledge and have them ready for kindergarten. As a leader in pre-K, like Miss Mari Carmen told you earlier, we do provide high quality instruction and we do have different options for your baby to qualify for pre-K. We do have free, we have scholarship and tuition-based pre-K. So you do have different options to get into the program. And our studies do show that when babies do attend pre-K, they are ready and to attend kindergarten and do a lot better than other students that don't. Yeah. So in title with that, we do have different options of schools that you can apply to. We do have transformation schools, which are like your biomedical, Montessori's, and your personalized learning schools. And we also do have magnet schools that include still Montessori schools, tag schools, single gender, and our wonderful program in arts that you are able to apply to. If you have any questions or need further assistance and how to actually apply for these programs, go ahead and give us a call at our hotline number at 214-932-7735, or you can visit our website at prekdallas.org.
Great, thank you so much. And just as a reminder, the application can be found at www.dallasisd.org/discover. And just to clarify, for pre-K, you are applying for these schools, the specialty schools, to attend pre-K in these specialty schools. You will be asked to apply again for the pre-K program in general in April. So for pre-K is a little different than the other grade levels, but the application is the same for all of them for these specialty schools and programs. If you have any questions about that, or you need help with the application for paperwork and such, you can visit our one centers that are located in several areas of the city, or you can call 972-925-5560 Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or you can call the phone bank today that's open from 10 to 2 o'clock. So thank you so much, Chris. And our next presentation is about our magnet schools that are famous. The top schools in Texas are usually some of our magnet schools. So we're just really, really proud of this program. We were one of the first districts to have magnet schools. And we have just been growing them since then. So I think that Nancy will be presenting.
Yes. Good
Thank you,
morning.
Nancy.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Nancy Rubio. I am the program manager for Magnet Programs in Centralized Enrollment, and we oversee the application process. So we do have magnet schools throughout our district. Our magnet schools have Montessori programs, talented and gifted programs, STEM programs, two-way dual language programs, and performing arts programs. Now, the main difference between magnet schools and other choice programs is that the magnet programs do have eligibility requirements, meaning students must qualify or be eligible through grades and test scores. Students must fill out the application. If the student meets the eligibility, every student over into the assessment process, which is a test or assessment or audition that is given at the school of choice. Of course, if your student is applying to pre-K through second grade, your student will not have test scores. But it is important to attach something in the required documents section, and you can just simply attach a copy of your bill because you do need to complete all documents in order to move forward in the process. Next slide, please. So when we're talking about magnet school eligibility, and this is for our students applying, to second grade through 12th grade, they will need to meet eligibility. Eligibility for our magnet programs is 75 GPA. And then for our talented and gifted programs, it does go up to 80. Test score eligibility, and this is on norm reference tests, or if your student is a Dallas ISD student, we do take the iReady test and the STAR test for eligibility. If your student is not a Dallas ISD student, we have a list of tests that are acceptable on the Magnet website. And also, if your student does not have test scores, then your student may be tested through the district. The student must first submit an application. After the application is submitted, the testing is scheduled. But that requirement for our magnet schools is 40th%. And then it goes up to 70th% for our talented and gifted programs. Next slide, please. So with our magnet programs, we do have a selection process. The way that selection process works is students who take the assessment are rank ordered. All students are ranked ordered, and that we take the top 30% of those students that scored the highest. These are all in-district students. The remaining 70% of the seats are divided out by our district's high school feeder patterns. I do want to mention that we do have a sibling rule. The sibling rule for Dealey and Harry Stone is that students that apply and meet the assessment requirement do get offered a seat after we take our top 30%. And then our sibling preferences for any other program, including our tag schools, is that students that take the assessment get an additional 5 points added to their application. I also want to mention that with our magnet programs, we do give priority to in-district students before we place our out-of-district students. That should not discourage you from applying because we have several seats, and we usually place all our students during our first round of applications. If you have any more questions, our contact information is on the screen. I do want to say also that our magnet website has a lot of information, it has open house dates. It also has information on eligibility, the tests that students can use for eligibility, and then the cutoff scores. And if you have any more questions, you can always contact all our representatives are knowledgeable about our magnet programs and all our choice programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all that information. And yeah, this is, since Nancy mentioned it, this is also a good time to take the opportunity to visit some of these schools. If you didn't get a chance to attend our in-person Discover that we had on November 1st that had representatives from all the schools, and you still want to know more about the school, check out if they have any open house days, and if not, give the school a call and and see if they if you can visit, if they have time where you can go visit and get to know the school and what it is that they do before you file the application or you submit, I guess, the application. Our next programs, and this is also like a really great program that we started a few years ago, our Transformation and Innovation Schools. And I don't know if it's Naomi who's going to be telling us about this, but please jump in.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Naomi. I am one of the project managers for the transformation program. We have a total of 18 schools for transformation. Transformation schools offer specialized academic programs. They are designed around single gender, Montessori, personalized learning, STEM, visual and performing arts. For these campuses, there are no academic entry requirements. Students are selected through a randomized lottery. For this application, you can apply through the Schoolmet enroll system. For all the transformation campuses, there is transportation required. The only two required documents that we do ask for is for proof of residency and for proof of income will be requested for some of the campuses just because we do the 50-50 socioeconomic diversity in school. Also, if you do have SNAP, that is also acceptable. You may choose not to provide the proof of income, and then the student will just be placed on the non-economically disadvantaged lottery. If you do have any other questions, you can contact myself or my other two teammates, Maribel or Paola.
Great. And these schools are found throughout the district, just like the magnet schools. So it could be that they're in your neighborhood. So definitely check them out. There's a lot of different programs. And if you're looking for the exact program that will best fit your students' learning style, these schools might give you a better choice, or if not better, the choice that is better for you. Our application, just as a reminder, can be found at www.dallasisd.org/discover. If you need help, you can call during the week at 972-925-5560, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is also the number for the phone bank that we will have today from 10 to 2. So if what you hear here is enough for you to be able to make a decision and you are having problems filling out the application, then you can call the phone bank today and they can walk you through or answer your questions. Our next set of programs is our two-way dual language. We are pioneers in the two-way dual language program. We have grown it. If you're going to join us at 11 for our middle school and high school programs, you'll see that we have grown this program to all grade levels. And that is something that is very different from what other districts are doing. And so this is a really great program to get your kids in if you want them to be bilingual and bicultural. And I'm not sure who's going to talk about this program, but feel free to jump in.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mauricio Garcia. I'm a dual language specialist with the Dual Language ESL department. I'm also joined today by my colleague, Joanna Linares, Dual Language Coordinator. We will be sharing with you an overview of the two-way dual language program. As you can see here, the two-way dual language program is a great model that brings together students who are learning English and students who are learning Spanish. This gives both groups the opportunity to become bilingual and biliterate. In this program, all the students, they learn to read, write, speak, listen, and in both languages, English and Spanish. But it's not only about the language. This learning model helps strengthen their thinking and problem-solving skills. Also, our students grow up with a deep appreciation of different cultures and perspectives. Next. So we want to let you know that Dallas ISD will be offering 74 schools options with dual language program next school year. But right now, the school options are a little bit less than that number. So to explore your options, just visit the Discover Dallas ISD School Finder at the link on the screen. Once you're on the site, click Explore Schools in Dallas. You can use the map to find the schools near you. Also, check out the school profiles by clicking See School Profile to learn more about each one. Under the Programs tab, you will see if the school offers the dual language and which type. There are two models: one-way dual language, which serves emerging bilingual students, and two-way dual language, which includes both emerging bilinguals and opt-in students. Those are who speak only English but are also learning Spanish. So we would like you to take a look and see which schools is the best fit for your child. And if you need any support, any questions, we're here to help. Next. So this is how instruction is structured at each grade level. Starting in pre-K and kinder, the majority of instruction, about 90%, is given in Spanish with 10% in English. The strong foundation in Spanish supports both language learners in building that academic vocabulary and content knowledge in the partner language. In first grade, the model shifts slightly. 80% of the instruction is in Spanish and 20% in English. So this is like a gradual increase of English. By the time the students reach second grade, all the way to sixth grade, the model becomes 50-50, meaning half of the instruction in Spanish and half of the instruction in English. So at this point, the students are working with confidence in both languages across all the subjects. So this instructional progression is designed to help students become fully bilingual, biliterate, and academically successful in both languages. And that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. Again, this is one of our really good programs that we have that other districts don't offer. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of something that is in the district that you're living in or not living in. To better prepare your children for this very global world we live in. Our next, it's not really a program, but we do have Coy Archie, who will be telling us about the special education services and how they work in the specialized programs and schools. And just let us know a little bit more about just special education services in general in the district, because this is also we offer great special education services in the district, services that are not offered in other districts, and they're certainly often not offered in private and charter schools. So this is another layer of resources that we have for our students who attend our schools. Coy?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. As you can see, we have a robust team supporting our special education department. And I am Coy Archie. As was stated, I'm one of the regional managers for our instructional support and compliance team. Centrally, we have a little bit over 300 team members supporting. For our centralized units, we have almost 500 supporting our students. And then inclusion, a little over 500. And then our teacher assistants, we have almost 1,000 teacher assistants supporting the needs of our students. We have approximately 135,265 students in Dallas ISD. Of that number, approximately almost 1,700 students receive services in special education. And then of that number, we have a little over 7,000 who are dually identified, meaning they're emerging bilingual as well as special education students. So we have a robust team to support those needs. Next slide, please. We have 3 different types of support we'll describe. There's the external, there's in-class, and there's specialized. When we're looking at external support, that would be mainstream and consultation, meaning that a teacher who is will check in with another teacher to see how that student is doing with the services they're receiving. In-class support would be our inclusion, and we also have our ECSE, which means early childhood special education collaborative programs. And then we have our centralized support, which is our behavior programs, which are redirection in our WIN program. We have our early childhood special education self-contained classes, our resource classes, as well as our specialized programs, which include our activities of daily living, functional life skills, and total communication. Next slide, please. We offer a continuum of services, specifically and uniquely designed for each student. Our inclusion services are offered at every single campus. Not all of our specialized programs, though, are offered at every campus. If you have an interest, please contact that particular campus to find out if they do have the specialized program that is deemed appropriate for your child. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now we've gotten to the portion of the presentation where we answer your questions. We have a few of them, but please feel free to add some more if any come to mind. One of the questions, and I guess it's a fairly basic question, is how old does a student have to be to attend kindergarten? And I mean, I guess if you're not attending, if the child is not attending pre-K, what is the minimum age for kindergarten? And anybody can jump in and answer this one.
Actually, the child must be 5 years old, according to TEA or state guidelines, in order to attend kinder.
Thank you. And what if I want to attend pre-K and I don't have any test scores because, you know, like 3-year-olds are probably not testing left and right. So what can I do to in lieu of testing? Or do you guys test the students when they apply?
I'm just going to speak for Magnet. Magnet does not, the students applying to pre-K, kinder, and first grade do not need test scores. But they will need to submit some type of document with their application. They do not need test scores, but they are given an assessment at the school, and the assessment consists of an observation. But no, they do not need test scores to apply.
Okay, great. So what does the application, beyond submitting the application, which by the way, you need to submit by January 31st, what does the application process looks like? I mean, we submitted our application. What can we expect after that for any of these schools, I guess? Somebody from centralized enrollment who might want to jump in and go over that?
We're very, so in order, well, once the applications are submitted on January 31st, depending on, you know, the lotteries will be run in February, and then the parents will be notified in the month of March. Now on here, you have very specific teams. So you have a magnet team can get a little bit more detailed in their process, and then the transformation team will be able to get a little bit more in detail in their process if needed.
Great. Magnet, do you have something to
I
add?
was just going to say that if a student is applying for a magnet school, the first step, of course, is to apply and submit all required documents. Once they do that, the campus reviews the application. If your student is marked eligible, then your student will also receive an appointment to come into the campus and take the assessment. And like Yesenia said, students receive notification of their acceptance by March 1st or February. I believe it's the last day in February.
Okay. And is there an advantage to submit an application now as opposed to waiting till January 31st? We are not reviewing them as they're submitted. Are we, or is it, I guess it's a little different for Magnet because you do have to schedule the testing and the interviews in the schools, right?
That is correct. An assessment takes place for all students that are marked eligible. You still do apply, must meet the deadline of January 31st. Anybody that applies by January 31st, we will accommodate them and give them an assessment once they have submitted that application.
But you're not doing that right now. I mean,
Yes.
It's after the deadline.
No, those assessments are going on right now. So if you apply, they're going on today actually as well. So as soon as you apply, the schools already have a schedule for assessments. Since they receive so many applications, they do need to start early. So it is possible for you to apply this week and possibly have an assessment when we come back from winter break.
Okay,
As long as you apply by the 31st. And it doesn't matter if you applied on November 1st or if you applied on January 31st, everybody has the same opportunity.
Great. And that's good to know. If you're still exploring, you can wait till January 31st and we'll still get you in because the slots are not assigned for each of the schools until the process is done, and we'll notify you in March. So just to clarify, we mentioned that we can make up to 5 choices and 2 of them only can be magnet. But does that mean that the rest of them have to be neighborhood schools, or can you have a combination of other programs that are not magnet? I don't know, somebody from enrollment can answer that.
It could be a combination of any type of program or Legacy Campus as well.
So I could do like personalized learning or some of our Montessoris, I believe, are not magnets. So if that's the case, then that you can add those. You could do 2 magnet Montessoris and, 1 that's transformation. So if you really want to be in a Montessori program, that you could do that combo.
That is correct. So the max of magnet is 2, and then the remaining 3 can be whichever choice. So like in your example, it could be all transformation Montessori, or it could be a little combination of everything else, whether it is like you said, transformation, single gender Montessori, whichever other option the family has, but it's a total of 5.
And I don't know that we have anyone here specifically for Montessori, but we do have the question, do Montessori schools still have to follow our TA district curriculum strictly, or do they, because they're a very specialized program, do they have some flexibility?
The Montessori schools do follow our state curriculum, but it is how they taught, and it's followed based on the Montessori style of teaching. And it's usually a great time and opportunity for families who are not quite clear how Montessori is to definitely schedule time to visit the schools to get to know what that looks like versus a traditional campus.
And it is really important that if you're interested in Montessori and you're not sure if this is the right thing for your student, because I mean it's a great program, but it's very independent. So if your child needs a little bit more direction or that kind of thing while in school, this may not be the perfect fit for your student, and it's good for you to go and explore and see what those classes are like, so before you apply or you commit to it, so that your student can be in the right place for him or her. So this is great advice to go check out Montessori programs and call any of our schools. I'm sure they will be happy to accommodate a visit so you can come and observe what classes are during the day. Okay, so do any of our pre-K programs, Chris, I don't know if you can answer this. Do any of our pre-K programs have after-school care, especially for the very little ones? Because parents work and they may not be able to pick them up right after. How does that work?
So the after-school care is actually handled by each school because each school has different programs at their campus. So the parent really has to reach out to the specific school they're interested in so they can find out what the after-school program entails.
And it's not just like after school, like they just put them all in one place. These are enrichment activities that we offer. They're programs that will help your child continue to grow. They're not just, put them in a room and give them a nap. So that is part of what we offer. All our after school programs are enrichment programs. So and as you grow, there's clubs and things like that let your children develop some of those what we call soft skills like critical thinking and how to work in teams and that kind of thing. So it is yet another advantage of attending our schools is that we do have a lot of partnerships with outside organizations that offer these programs, or we offer them in the school. We also offer tutoring. So we have this great array of supports for your students. So this parent's son is currently in a magnet school, but they would like to transfer him to another one. Can they choose all new schools on the application, or do they have to apply for their current schools so they don't lose the spot? This is a very common question about magnet schools. If they don't, do they need to reapply for the school they're in? And if not, can they choose other schools? Nancy, can you address that?
Yes, of course. So you can apply to different schools for the 26-27 application. Your student remains at their enrolled school until you actually withdraw the student or notify the campus that they will not be returning. So they do not lose their spots. It is possible for you to apply, get a seat somewhere else, right? If you get a seat at another magnet school, and you may decide not to send them to that magnet school and you might decide to stay. So the student does not lose their seat at their current school until the parent actually withdraws the student or notifies the campus that they will not be returning, or enrolls them or enrolls them at a different campus.
Great, thank you. Yes, and that does apply. I mean, even if you're not going to change schools, you remain in that magnet school until the highest grade level, right? You don't need to reapply every year.
That is correct.
That is a question that always comes up in these, do I need to keep applying? But if, for example, it's a magnet and there we do have some multi-level magnet schools. For example, Dealey is one of those that we have elementary, and then we have middle school. Do they need to apply for the middle school portion, or do they just stay there till 8th grade because that's the highest?
Stay there until 8th grade. The only reason a student would be withdrawn is if they have conduct issues. There, we do have a policy, or if a student does not meet academic requirements, then the principal can possibly remove the student. But of course, so many things would have happened before this. They would have had to talk to the parent, and there's lots of interventions before they get to that step.
Yes, and that is part of this array of supports that we have for students. We certainly don't want them to fail. So we do, when we see that, maybe they're not doing great, we'll do interventions, we'll do tutoring, we'll talk to parents, we'll do whatever we can to make sure that your student is successful. So transportation, that's another question that comes up a lot. which of these programs offer transportation? Maybe somebody.
Okay,
Go ahead,
magnet
Nancy.
programs do offer transportation. After a student is accepted into a magnet program, or it could be a P-TECH program, a transformation program. I believe those are the ones that offer P-TECH, transformation, and magnet. So after a student accepts a seat, they will have the option on their application to select the transportation.
Good morning. This is Coy representing special education. Our special education students may qualify for transportation services as well.
Good, and that is all part of the assessment that they do at the beginning, the ARD, where they determine which services are the right services for your student. Transportation is one of the things that is discussed at that time. And what if you don't live, you want to apply to one of these great schools or programs, and you're coming in from out of state, and you may not have some of the paperwork that we're asking for because I don't live in Texas, or maybe I'm coming in from somewhere else in the country. So two things. First, what paperwork do we submit? And also, what if I don't already have like a specific address? I know I'm going to live within the Dallas School District attendance zone, but I don't have a specific address. How is that handled? Maybe some of the enrollment folks can answer that.
When a student applies, we use the address their current address. So they may be planning to move.
I think we may have lost whoever was answering that. Because somebody else jump in?
Yeah, so for magnet schools, anyone can apply, whether they live within Dallas ISD, outside of Dallas ISD, or out of state. Particularly for magnet, as long as they meet that eligibility requirement of the report card GPA and the test score requirement, they may be able to move on to an assessment or audition for that particular school. But it is important to know that these are in-person assessments and auditions and interviews. Therefore, if the student is deemed eligible, they will need to make proper arrangements to attend that assessment.
Great. And if you don't, if you don't have a specific address right now, but you do before, right after you submitted the application, how do I change that?
Any changes to the application can be done up to January 31st. So for addresses, it's whatever address you currently reside in at the time that you're submitting your application. That will be taken into consideration.
And if I find an address after that, then whatever address I had before is what we'll take into consideration.
Correct.
Okay. And if you want to see the array of schools that we have in each of the different programs, we do have information at www.dallasisd.org/discover, and it's right there on the slide, at the bottom of the slide that you're looking at. We have not only descriptions of each of the different programs, but then you can also find links to the programs themselves and which schools fall within them. So for special education services, there's a couple parents that have asked, how do they find the best school for their children? They that offer the most services. Can you go over that again? How services are not necessarily determined by each specific school, but that they follow the student?
Good morning. This is Sherry Tharsha Campbell. Yes, Marty Cummins. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So yes, depending on the student's IEP, we're going to implement the IEP So we, of course, would look at the IEP for that individual student, and we would implement that IEP with fidelity. And I also want to make sure that parents know that we can't answer student-specific questions due to confidentiality, but they can contact the Special Services Department. Our number is 972-581-4100. And then they can contact us at notifysped@dallasisd.org.
Great. And while you're here, I don't know if this falls within special services, but how can a student, the parent may suspects that the student may have ADHD or or maybe dyslexia or some other situation, but they can't afford to have them tested outside. Do they at the school, or do they call you guys and say, hey, I really think my child is falling behind because of this, but they've never been tested? Do we do that kind of testing at the parent's request?
Yes, we do. So with our students 3 and below, we use our Child Find program, so they can contact our Child Find department, or if they're in school, they can of course contact their campus, and they would go through their MTSS process to have their students evaluated.
Who in the campus do they contact? Is it the counselor?
They can contact I would start with the administrator, Marty Cumming, because I'm not sure each campus has a different MTSS chairperson. So I would start with the administrator, and then of course, if yes, they can contact their school counselor or their child's teacher and let the teacher know that they are having concerns and would like to have their student evaluated.
And this applies at any grade level. Of course, the sooner we catch some of these situations, the better, because then we have a huge array of resources that we can offer to make sure that your child is successful at any age. But with some things like dyslexia, for example, the sooner that we can start those interventions, the better for your student. So definitely something to keep in mind. So we have gone through the majority of the questions, and we want to thank all of you for participating in this session. Again, if you have questions, the phone back should be open now because it's after 10. So if you have any questions or you need help with the application, please call the phone bank at 972-925-5560 from 10 to 2 o'clock today. We have our session for middle school and high school coming up at 11 o'clock today. So if you have any questions about those, if you have any questions, we ask you to please put them in the Q&A that's at the bottom of your screen. I'm sorry, I was ready to say goodbye. We have a couple other questions that have come up about zoning. For these programs, it doesn't really matter where you live within the Dallas ISD attendance zone. You're not going, if it's a magnet school, you have to apply. Transformation schools are a little different, and I don't know if Naomi, if you want to explain how that works for some of our transformation schools.
Yeah, so for transformation, anyone can apply. There's no zoning for it. There is priorities if you do live in district, but anyone in the district in Dallas or outside of Dallas can apply for transformation campuses.
Great. And some of them may be your neighborhood schools, so that works out well. And Jorge, I don't know if you can talk about how every student who lives within our attendance zone for the district is guaranteed a seat at their zoned school, that they don't need to apply for those.
Absolutely. That is your zone school. Based on your address, we would use the school finder map tool to go ahead and determine what your zone school is. And if it is about 2 miles away from where you live, you will qualify for transportation. But every student who lives within the boundaries of Dallas ISD has a zone school. And, I really like to emphasize that we have great programs at your zone schools. So that's why we call them legacy schools. So yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mari Carmen.
No, thank you, Jorge. And really, if let's say you apply to 5 of the specialized schools and you don't, for some odd reason, because I think everybody who applies gets accepted at one or the other of the schools they apply to, you will always have a spot at your neighborhood school. So there's no need to worry about that. Just as a reminder, if you're applying, if your child is in 5th grade and you're looking for middle school programs, that we will talk about starting at 11 o'clock. So if you haven't registered for that, please go to dallasisd.org/discover and register for the session that starts at 11 a.m. today. And we will talk more about those particular programs. If somebody was asking, what is the best school for the arts? Well, we do have our magnet school, Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts. That is, we have produced many great artists from that school. So definitely that. We do have other schools, like our middle school for the arts is Griner. They have a fantastic program there. It's a great school. And we do have, it's a transformation school, I believe, the Martin Luther King Junior School that's at the elementary level that offers arts education. So we do have arts schools for all the grade levels, but our legacy schools also offer great arts programs. So just because it's not labeled for the arts doesn't mean that your kids will not have access to great art education. Band, for example, that is something that we have in our legacy schools. In fact, some of our legacy schools have really, really strong band programs, and they are like the pride and joy of those schools. So especially at the high school levels. So definitely check out all of the programs that we also have in our legacy schools. I mentioned it at the beginning, but this recording will be available for everyone on the same page where you first registered for the programs. At www.dallasisd.org/discover. We'll have the recording for this and the session at 11. So you can go over them again in case you missed any information or you just want to review what was said for your particular program. So again, thank you so much to everyone who joined us. Thank you so much for all of your questions. And if you have students who are moving into middle school or high school, we will have information about those programs at 11. You can register for that in that same webpage, and we look forward to your questions and your participation at that time. Thank you so much to all the panelists, and if you're joining us at 11, we will see you then.